I'm Joe Halko, Director of Community Relations for Northwestern Counseling and Support Services, and welcome to another episode of NCSS Here for You. Since 1958, Northwestern Counseling and Support Services has been providing access to high-quality services which promote healthy living and emotional well-being to the residents of Franklin and Grand Isle counties. Over the years, as the needs of the community have changed, so too have the programs and services that we make available to assist children, adolescents, adults, families, and seniors. We take our role in the community seriously and strive to provide a continuum of the highest quality services to meet the needs of individuals who at any point seek assistance. March is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Developmental disabilities are a group of conditions due to an impairment in physical, learning, language, or behavior areas. These conditions begin during the developmental period. They may impact day-to-day functioning and usually last throughout a person's lifetime. Many people who have a developmental disability are able to live full, active lives. The NCSS Developmental Services Division serves individuals diagnosed with intellectual disabilities, developmental delays, are deaf or hard of hearing, or have an autism spectrum disorder. A robust portfolio of services is available with the goal of having each individual live as independently as possible. NCSS has also been recognized for offering some of the most innovative programming in the state of Vermont. To discuss this topic in greater detail, I'm pleased to introduce this month's guests. Claire Thompson, Pathways Team Leader at the Academy of Learning, and Kasey Carpenter, Team Leader for the Life Management Team. And I'd like to welcome both of you to the program.
Thank you, Joe. Glad to be here.
So,
Thanks for having me, Joe.
let us begin with, I had mentioned innovative programming just a moment ago, but innovative programming that includes a program for adaptive and expressive arts, the Academy of Learning, and program for deaf and hard of hearing. Would you describe the importance of these programs to the individuals that they serve?
Absolutely. They are very exciting programs, and I feel like I could talk about each of them individually for a day at least, because they're so important to the people that we serve and the community. So I'll start with the program for adaptive and expressive arts, which we affectionately call Payem. And this program is so wonderful. We offer music services, art services, sensory activities for our consumers. And I have to say my favorite part of it is that typically twice a year the music groups will do a concert that is open to the community and our peers, and it is such a joy to attend those concerts, to see the hard work that everybody has put into them and the growth that has come out of those music expression groups is really phenomenal. So the music groups they offer a bell choir, there's a women's group, a men's group. There are smaller groups of individuals who like to get together and request and sing songs and play instruments. And it's really amazing to see the pride, the joy, the recognition, the camaraderie and encouragement between the community and peers. It's really priceless. And I think another thing that comes out of that program is the art program, which is another fantastic way that our consumers have an opportunity for self-expression that may not be afforded to them. I think it's unique to NCSS, this program, which is really wonderful. So at each of those concerts, the individuals who participate in the art program get to showcase their work and the projects they've been working on through the course of the year. And it's phenomenal. It's really unparalleled. Another fun thing that group has done in the past is in Swanton, I believe it's just in Swanton, but the town of Swanton allowed the consumers to go and decorate some of the billboards in town. So that was a really fun community project. There was a theme for that, and people got together and put their artwork out in the community, which was really fantastic. So in the working with clients that I've worked with in the past, I've just seen incredible growth from the individuals in terms of self-expression, camaraderie, coming out of their shells and being able to say, look, I did this. And it's really fantastic. So it's super important to our clients and a great way to connect with our community as well. So that the Payem program is a really fantastic program. And that segues into that, works with our programs for deaf and hard of hearing. We do have a number of clients who are deaf and hard of hearing that we provide services for. And those services are, again, unique to NCSS, where any services that a hearing person would have access to, someone who is deaf and hard of hearing would also have access to those services. And that's not something that happens everywhere. So it is really phenomenal that we have that. We have staff who are fluent in American Sign Language. We also have a wonderful woman named Maria Grenier who organizes interpreter services for the entire agency. And so in any setting where that's necessary, she can coordinate having an interpreter available to ensure that all information is getting accurately passed along. Something else that's pretty unique and excellent that we offer is something called augmented and alternative communication. And a part of that, under that umbrella, is something called facilitated communication. So we offer an opportunity for folks who maybe do not have speech capabilities to still be able to express themselves through those methodologies. And that's pretty unique and pretty amazing. It's really what you see come out of people, and giving the opportunity to express themselves after years of not being able to is really amazing. I can't say enough about it. So it's super important to everybody.
Now, how extensive are developmental services, crisis services?
Yeah, crisis services are really, so I'll say that in NCSS, we offer what we refer to as wraparound services for our clients. And DS crisis services are a huge part of that. So while we have families and home providers and people who are primary caregivers who offer our consumers support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there are times when you need additional support that are outside of regular business hours, or just your primary contact support person may not be available. And that's where the DS crisis services step in. So that is a team of staff who are available at any time of day or night. Someone is on call and will return a call if support is needed. And those people are very well trained. There's ongoing education and support for them to be able to provide the best supports in a variety of situations, crisis, pending crisis, or just needing somebody to talk to avoid a crisis. The team works very closely with the service coordinators and other staff. There's a lot of communication back and forth to ensure that we're providing the best supports available. So anyone who has connection with developmental services and needs to contact crisis, what they would do is they would call 802-393-6688, and someone will answer the phone, and they would ask to speak with the on-call crisis worker, and their phone call would be returned within 15 minutes. And those are meant to be time limited, but intensive supports for individuals. And then again, communication is forwarded onto the larger support team. So it really fills in that wraparound services model. Yeah. The other thing is the crisis team is offering ongoing education, especially during the times of COVID, when, as we all know, anxiety and depression and upheaval has been increased. So they've definitely stepped up and filled that need for us, which has been incredible.
That's terrific. Let's move on to employment for a moment here. You know, we know that it is so important for self-esteem. And could you explain the Employment Services Program and how it operates?
Yeah, sure, Joe. Nancy Taylor is the team leader for the employment team, and she has individuals on her team that job develop for individuals, and it can be a range of support. Sometimes people just need help with job applications or resumes, but they also help individuals to find a match, to find a job that they like. And you're right, it is so important for someone's self-esteem to feel good about their job and enjoy their job. She has job coaches as well as job developers who will support individuals on site if needed. Sometimes people need a little extra support to get started in their job. Sometimes it's only temporary. Sometimes it can be consistent, and someone may need support all the time. Sometimes people may just need support with transportation, getting to and from their job, and that's what members of Nancy's team does as well. So they really have connected with many businesses in our community, and we have some great community partners that work with Nancy and her team and help people to find jobs and maintain jobs. And like you said, it's just great for individuals to have jobs and feel good about it.
You know, and you mentioned the community partners, the businesses where these individuals work, and you know, certainly what is so critical is the fact that we're so fortunate that so many local businesses understand the value and, you know, realize the fact that because someone has a disability does not mean that they can't help a particular business out to perform a certain function. And I think one of the things I've noticed over the years is how some of these business people are gratified by the fact that they can, number one, help someone, but number two, that they see that this person really will do an incredible job. And I think the other thing that they find over time is the loyalty of these individuals in staying with these organizations probably far exceeds that of the average employee that they have, you know, year in and year out.
I mean, Franklin County, the community has been wonderful working with Nancy's team. I mean, she has relationships with many businesses, from, you know, St. Albans to Swanton to Enosburg to Richford, and the community has just been wonderful in supporting the program.
So let's move on to, you know, there's a variety of clinical services to support both individuals and their families. Would you elaborate on a few of them?
Sure. So the Developmental Services clinical team consists of clinicians and experienced staff who offer support and guidance to individuals served and their families, and staff and contracted workers who work with them. The mission of the clinical team is to foster the well-being of the individuals served and to empower them to reach their full potential. The clinical team offers a variety of clinical programs that include individual and family counseling, dialectic behavior therapy skills, training family life and sexual health, an internship program, and behavior consultation. Several developmental services therapists are fluent in American Sign Language. The clinical team is available to provide trainings on a variety of clinical topics. And Amber Scheffler actually is in charge of the clinical services and is a wonderful clinician herself.
And again, I think it's important to note that, you know, all of these services are so critically important to those that we serve. And as Kasey said earlier about the fact that NCSS truly does provide wraparound services for these individuals.
Yes.
I think critically important.
All very important, yes. And we do provide great wraparound services, which is essential for people.
So I understand that peer services play a major role for individuals that are receiving developmental services. Can you explain some of the options that are available?
Yes, absolutely. That's absolutely correct. We have a really great couple of opportunities for peer support services. And Randy Lazat is our peer support services contact person, and he's a wonderful advocate for people. And if people have more questions about peer support, they can email him. And I wanted to make sure I had his email address correct. So it's Randy, RANDY .Lazat, LIZOTTE at ncssinc.org. And he is just incredibly knowledgeable about peer support and the process that people go through when they receive services from NCSS. We have a group called the NCSS Peer Advocates, and they work very, very hard to provide incredible supports for other individuals receiving services. They offer to meet with anyone who is new to DS services as a welcome, and to help them kind of navigate those initial steps in getting set up with services. There's ongoing mentoring and support. One of the great things that I think all DAs do is all of our treatment plans are person-centered. So we want that plan of care to come from the individual receiving services. And Randy, as a peer advocate, can really help people with navigating that, which can be a daunting undertaking for someone. The other great thing that the peer advocates do is they offer a training to all of our new employees. And it's kind of a look through our eyes, I think is what it's called. And it presents what things look like as somebody with disabilities, and what are the differences, what are the similarities. And I've heard a lot of great feedback from new employees and how helpful that training was, to be able to really focus on person-centered and what are the abilities of the people that we serve, and how do they view the supports that they're getting. And that's been a really fantastic program that they've started up. And then it's also just a fun social group. Oh, go ahead, Claire.
It's a great training, and actually all NCSS employees have to take that training. So it's really a valuable, very valuable training.
Yeah, I remember taking it. It was powerful. Yeah.
Yes, very powerful.
Yep. Yeah. And then the peer advocates also get together to socialize. So it's a great opportunity to create relationships, and in creating those relationships, when somebody feels that they want a little additional support, they have a peer to reach out to because they've made that connection in the social group, which is just really incredible. And their underlying message is, I've walked the walk and you don't have to do this alone, which, what a great sentiment to pass along and to be there for each other. And then, so our peer advocates group also works with a larger group called the Green Mountain Self Advocates. And Randy is actually the president of that group. So again, he's a great resource for those two advocacy groups. The GMSA also does a lot with educating the public, and our Vermont legislature, which is pretty incredible, that they go and educate our leadership in the government about disabilities and needs and perspectives, which is really awesome. So, and more information can be found at gmsavt.org. That's Green Mountain Self Advocates Vermont. So it's another great resource.
Yeah, and I think, as both of you have stated, critically important to day in and day out how individuals with disabilities sort of navigate, day to day. And as you said, Kasey, and especially in today's world where there's a lot of isolation and what have you, these relationships that have been built up over time throughout the state, I think are critically important. And speaking of isolation and pandemics and what have you, I wanted to ask a question about what are we doing to provide supports during this pandemic period? I mean, we're now a good 11 months into it, and I know that it's changed a lot of the ways that there's certain service delivery. that's being conducted. But if you could just share some of the things that have changed.
Yeah, so obviously we've had to make a lot of adjustments with the pandemic, as we all have. But one of the things, because we can't hold classes at the Academy of Learning because of the pandemic, we have scheduled Zoom classes, and we have just got this up and running. We started at the beginning of January, and we are holding classes every Friday. And hopefully we're going to expand on this, but we're just getting off the ground. It's going really well. We are offering bingo to people on Fridays. We're offering some exercise classes, one Tabata class. We're offering chair yoga. We're doing a fun activity with games also. And we are also offering a lunch social so people can be connected and not isolated during this pandemic. And we have, we've been fortunate enough to have some staff or individuals that we know come on and actually play music during the lunch social. We've had several staff members, and it's been a big hit. It's fun. Everybody sings and dances along through Zoom. So we've really worked hard to try to keep people connected socially. You know, during this time, it's really difficult for people. It's difficult for everybody. So we're working really hard to provide services and make the changes and adjustments that we need to make during this pandemic. And it's been very well received, and we're just really excited that we're able to do that.
And that having attended the lunch social, it was just such a highlight to see people I hadn't seen in 11 months. It was just such a highlight. And Claire did a lot of work to get that all squared away. So appreciated by those who attended, and it was really awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People were just so excited. Some people haven't been able to even get out of their house, you know, during this whole time. So to be able to Zoom and see each other and, you know, just the excitement through people, it was just heartwarming. Joe, you should join us for a lunch social. You would love it.
I would like to do that. You know, I was going to say, you know, the pandemic has been on many different levels devastating for many people. But, you know, with every situation like this, there's always things that come out of it that you say you now can utilize for good. And I think the Zoom platform, video conferencing, is one area that, as we look at it and look a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, is that this platform is going to be something that you'll be utilizing in various ways. And, you know, individuals who might not be able, say, to make it into the academy at a given point in time, but yet might be able to join via Zoom so they don't miss certain, you know, certain topics and what have you. So, you know, I kind of look at it and say that really video conferencing is one of the things that I think is going to come, you know, we're going to come out on the other end and say it's one of the things that we learn to, you know, sort of embrace and be able to help us with service delivery for years to come.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's great. It's we're really fortunate. We were able to purchase some iPads for individuals as well, so that people that don't have the technology to Zoom can actually sign out iPads, and so that they can join in these classes and activities. So we've been very fortunate in that sense too. And you are right. I don't think it's going anywhere. And I think it's just a great tool to keep people involved and engaged.
Yeah.
And I think that, Claire, you can probably speak to this as you're the one that's kind of been spearheading this, but it's also been a great opportunity for our community partners. You know, we aren't able to meet in big groups like we had been previous to the pandemic. So we've done a lot of hard work to try to find spaces, particularly in the winter with the cold weather, spaces for people to be able to continue to go out with staff and work on their goals and things. So Claire has worked with our Elks Club and the Dairy Center up in Enosburg to provide spaces for us. And that has been a great partnership as well. And having, again, that community connection is always so heartwarming.
Yeah, you know, like I said before, it's a great community that we live in. The Elks Foundation has been so wonderful in letting us use their hall so that people can have a place to be, to work on their goals. It's just been wonderful. They let us use their hall every single day, 5 days a week, you know, and they're closed themselves because of the pandemic, but they still continue to let us use the hall. And Lise Gates has been wonderful as well from the Dairy Center. She's letting us use a space up there at the bowling alley so that people can continue to be out in the community and work on their goals with staff. So I just can't say enough about, you know, the individuals that are our community partners that are just fabulous, just fabulous to work with.
Yeah, that is for sure. Let's switch now to how does shared living services work for clients?
So shared living provides people with disabilities the opportunity to live in the community with other supports, people or families. The support people or providers, as we call them, are screened and contracted by NCSS. Individuals live in a provider's home and are supported by a team and are compensated by a tax-free stipend. So it's again part of our wraparound services. The home providers are supported by a whole team, your service coordinator and your direct staff and everything. And just to be able to support that person for taking someone in and sharing their home with them. Yeah. It's a great job and it's a great opportunity for people, you know, for both individuals and the shared living provider to be a part of a great team and a great program. Amy Bronson is in charge of the shared living provider program. So if anybody had any questions, they could reach out to Amy at NCSS, and she does a wonderful job. Your home has to pass an inspection, but she works with individuals, and so if there are any adjustments that need to be made, then she's just really a great support person to assist people to help them to do that.
And let's switch to respite services and how they work.
Yeah, those go really in conjunction most frequently with the shared living services for our clients. And as Claire said, it's such a wonderful opportunity for our clients to live, you know, independently, but with supports in a shared living situation. But that is, that's a tough job. It's a 24/7 job to be a primary caregiver for someone and our clients have a wide range of abilities and needs and supports in place. So as you can imagine, getting a break is crucial. It's crucial for the care provider, and it's also crucial for the individual to just kind of have a chance to step away from each other and have that break. So for the care provider, it's an opportunity to do some self-care, take care of things that you need to take care of as an adult, getting through life, and have a chance to really just kind of focus on themselves and trust that the person that they're responsible for is in a safe and healthy environment. So those respite services are really crucial. That is done, the person who is the shared living provider primarily would set that up. They would find people that they could train, that they trust, that are loving individuals who are willing to support someone in there. That can happen either at the respite provider's home. That's usually the way things go, but teams are very creative and are focused mostly on what works for the whole team. So I know there are teams where it works best for the consumer to stay in place and the respite provider comes to their home. So that's also an option and works best for some folks. We also at NCSS do have a respite house that is fully accessible and has highly trained staff who are there. It's a very popular option because it's a beautiful place. And it's staffed and accessible. So people do book that place out pretty far in advance, but that speaks highly to how successful it has been and the need for respite. So that our Berry Hill Respite House is an option for folks that is has been literally a lifesaver for people.
Yeah.
Having that break, it preserves a relationship and the home to have that time off. As I said, it just can't express how critical that is. Have a little mini vacation from things, and then you come back refreshed and ready to re-engage, and you're a better care provider for having that break.
Yeah, I think NCSS is unique in the fact that we do have a respite house, that we are very fortunate, and it's been up and running for a couple of years now, and it has been used widely and has been just a great program and a great opportunity for people to get that break, which is so important.
Yeah. And the care that's provided, as I had mentioned earlier, our individuals have a wide range of needs. And the staff at the Berry Hill House are fully trained, and having worked with them several times, are so committed to providing just the best quality care that they possibly can. So they're constantly getting training, constantly asking for updates, and ensuring that they have the correct information for medications and care procedures and all of those things. So it's that peace of mind for as a care provider. You're handing your individual over to somebody else. That can be a little daunting. So having that trained staff has been really a godsend for people.
Yeah.
Well, and what a great way to end this show on. So I want to thank my guests, Claire Thompson and Kasey Carpenter, for being on the show today and sharing their insights as we highlight Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. I also want to thank you, the viewer, for spending time with us again this month. You can learn more about all of our NCSS programs and services by logging on to ncssinc.org. I'm Joe Halko, and I'll be back next month with another episode of NCSS Here for You.